At quarterback at the top, there are two guys that just, to me, far out. Now there's only three guys in the 7K range, but Jaden Daniels for me is the clear number three. I don't know where you're at on that, but Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen look really good this week.
Josh Allen, you could put it in Sharpie, is the quarterback I want up top. He's quietly just doing his thing every week. Now he's in the dome against Indy. Everything looks good. I'm not saying those other guys aren't playable because they definitely are, but Josh Allen to me is clearly the pay up option. We don't have Lamar on the slate, so that does change some of the dynamics up top, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, look, Josh Allen against Indy is just a fantastic spot, but Jalen Hurts against this Dallas like Philly's firing on all cylinders right now. You look at Jalen Hurts in these four performances in the 4-game win streak since returning from that week 5 bye. He didn't need to do much against the Giants. Only attempted 14 passes, but it didn't matter. He has 6 rushing touchdowns over the last 3 games. He kind of does everything, right? And even if he's passing at a low clip, he's been wildly efficient lately. They have the weapons everywhere. And I think he's still a great play this week too.
Definitely. No doubt about it. You're splitting hairs. Again, we'll see what his situation is. Pairing with Josh Allen, Chad just brought this up, is no easy task in its own right. We'll see what that is. But to me, Allen's my guy up top.
Is Jaden Daniels number 3?
I mean, he is, but it's not worth talking about because I'm not playing him.
That's what I mean, though. I'm saying like a distant 3 for you in that tier.
Distant is the word rather than like top 3. Yeah.
All right. So mid tier. This is fun as well. Kirk Cousins against New Orleans. I think you see a little dead cat bounce for the Saints here, by the way.
Can't get worse.
No, they're only 3-point dogs.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at home in division, you're never a big dog. You shouldn't be, at least.
I put a small play on them at 3.5. Like these are the games where people go, Atlanta's going to destroy them, and you know what? Maybe they do. But
there's they do a lot, and then they lose sometimes. Right.
But there's times when they don't, which is like 50% of the time in this situation. People go, how did that happen? It's like, dude, there's a 3-point spread at home in a divisional spot after firing your head coach. What did you expect? Or they just get routed.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, that spread doesn't feel off to me at all.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I think it moves uniformly to 3 across the board by the time that game starts. Mahomes had a really nice game yesterday. I'm not going to him against Denver. I still think Denver bounces back. I liked Baltimore a lot last week against the spread. I think Denver bounces back here. What do you want to say?
Just what kind of schedule is this? My God. At Baltimore, at Kansas City. Nice.
I know. I was thinking that. Now, yeah, that's a crazy, crazy tough schedule. However, if you zoom out a little bit, you're like, oh, they had Carolina before that. They had the Saints in New Orleans, which could have been a much more difficult matchup. They had the Chargers, Raiders, Jets, Tampa. Yeah, but at Baltimore, at Kansas City is rough. I don't love Mahomes here, though. I think Purdy is very interesting, especially getting McCaffrey back. Just more of a fine-tuned machine on offense, hopefully. But what about and not going to bury the lead. Sam Darnold against Jacksonville is probably going to be popping, and it's not lost on me. But if that's the case, I might entertain Baker against San Francisco with how he's played.
He's been awesome. Obviously, his stacking weapons are very cheap right now, and that helps. He's chipping in with rushes. He's playing great. I do still worry about the Niners defense. We'll see what they can do as it gets healthier.
It's hard to get to him, though, because Cade Otton's the only guy that you have any faith in, and now he's priced up.
That's what I mean. It's just not an easy... The theme of this week, just at a first glance for me, are great quarterbacks that make difficult stacks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Minnesota just being the one here, though, where do you plug a relatively affordable Sam Darnold in with Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson?
I feel like that's going to be the Geno-esque +2 of this week. It'll grade out very well. It'll be very popular.
Okay, so if that happens to be the case, I honestly may just pay $6,700, talking DraftKings for the sake of this show, for Aaron Jones. Like they,
That's a good leverage point, sure.
I bet him to have 700. I bet over on 700 rushing yards, right? For the season. I'll jinx this because he'll get hurt.
Most
He's
likely.
he's at 565 less than halfway through the season. I didn't understand that line at all outside of injury, which when you're betting those season-long futures, that's the case. I still didn't understand that at all, Ben, thinking that, like, what do we think? Ty Chandler's just going to get a ton of work. Here's why I mentioned this. You look at the last several games for Aaron Jones. Forget about the one against the Jets in London where he got hurt early. 22 carries, 14, but they played from behind against Detroit, 19 against the Rams, 21 against the Colts. So we saw what Barkley did last week, ran all over Jacksonville. If it ends up that Minnesota's just popular through the air and Aaron Jones isn't at all, maybe he just makes for an incredible pivot in that game.
Definitely. There's always utility of leveraging within the stack. Like, obviously, you could use Jones with Darnold too, but you could isolate it there. For me, mid-range quarterbacks is pretty simple. Darnold, I think, is the best play. Purdy, I think, is the best pivot. And that's about it. I'm not gonna play Kyler. Yeah.
I'm not playing Kyler there.
No.
Nope, not happening. Like Darnold's just the obvious one. So if we go by tiers, top tier for me, let's have some fun with this because you're going Allen. I would too, right? You're going Allen.
I'm going Allen, yes.
I would too, but I Jalen Hurts is right up there with him. So I'll go Jalen Hurts. Did you want Sam Darnold here in that mid tier?
Well, you could take him. I'll take Purdy then.
I was gonna say I would take Purdy too. I don't care. I'll take.
Why don't we do the show like this today? We don't do this often. Why don't we do it where we just do a little snake draft? So like we can't take the same player.
I love it. All right. So then you get to pick first. Like we'll just go.
Yeah.
You pick first by tier by tier by tier. We switch up. Okay.
Yeah.
The two-man snake draft.
Exactly. So I'm taking Josh Allen and you took Hurts and now it's your pick. Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna go Brock Purdy. I think he's gonna be
sweet. I'll take Darnold then.
What?
Yeah, I said sweet. I'll take Darnold.
Yeah, I think we would have been fine with having either of those. Right?
100%.
All right. I was doing this last night and I'm going. My first thought was, I'm really intrigued to see what Ben thinks of this low tier, because oftentimes you're willing to actually take some stabs on these guys, and I am too this week. I'm not even going to mention any of these guys. I'm talking sub 6K. I wrote 3 of them down, of which none of them really excite me, but one I think is wildly underpriced, just wildly underpriced.
So it's pretty simple for me, obviously. Trevor Lawrence at 54. I don't, again, he doesn't have to be good. He throws the ball 30 times a game. He somehow is scoring on the ground now. Maybe that's something, maybe that's nothing, but it's certainly helping because he had an awful game against Philly and he still got there easily. Justin Herbert's in an offense that doesn't want to utilize him, but he's too good to not be utilized. He's been outstanding, efficient, his price point, and he's at home against Tennessee. I worry about the game script. I'm not going to go to like Flacco. I don't see that. I guess you could make a case for Rodgers, but I don't really see that. Carr, I guess, would be the third.
Okay. So I thought about Rodgers and I'm like, man, if you play Rodgers, I think you have to you don't have to, but I think the double stack with Wilson and Adams has to be very much like, you look at their target shares since Adams came over, those guys are dominating targets. Yeah. It's also expensive. Have you, I'm hoping you haven't yet, but have you looked at the prices of Wilson and Adams yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them, and again, I don't have them off the top of my head, but I saw they were in like the 7K range, which is pricey.
They're I think 7 and 7-2. They're both 7K.
Yeah.
That's an expensive stack for a team whose offense hasn't really functioned all that well, which means that Rodgers to me gets bumped down a little bit because I think that stack is probably overpriced based on production, right?
I'm not in love with that double, no.
For me, and we'll snake it. You can go first, but if you don't take him, for me, it is definitely a $5,200 Justin Herbert. I mean, this Titans secondary is terrible. And you know what? Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, they've been willing to open it up a little bit. I think Herbert is finally over that foot injury. I think he's gelling more with the rookie lad McConkey. Quentin Johnston comes back and immediately produces again. Like
He's turning out to not be the bust that people thought.
big time. It is okay. How cool is this? If you wanted to, Justin Herbert 5,200 is egregiously under. Like, not he should be 6K in this spot, 7.5 point favorites. Maybe they want to run the ball fine, but if you wanted to go Justin Herbert, Lad McConkey, and who else would you want, Ben? It'd probably have to be Johnston, right?
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston, and then I just went and threw in a cheap defense. I'll throw in Patriots since the Bears offense has sputtered lately. 6,300 per player remaining, and you've got a Herbert +2.
And you have a tight end spot, so it's going to go up more.
Good point. So
I get it.
I think it's a pretty nice spot.
I'm going Trevor Lawrence just because I'll just keep doing that. I really believe in that stack over and over.
Okay. And you're also getting a cheap stack there.
Super cheap.
If I threw, say, just Hawkinson in, then it's 6,700 remaining.
Yeah, that's almost best available territory.
So yeah, give me, and Jordan, are you writing these tiers down? Where were you? Have you been with us today?
But you do have them.
No, you haven't. What's going on, dude?
You rattled them. You rattled all of us. Anyway.
Herbert and Lawrence. No, you got him. That's perfect. That's perfect. We're good. All right. This is fun. A fun week of quarterbacks. I like it. Who's your favorite overall?
Josh Allen.
Far and away. All right.
I think Darnold probably be the cash quarterback if you play cash, just because the floor on his stack is going to be very high. But I just feel like Josh Allen has every way to succeed and then some here.